Hey friends, as you can see if you watched my post yesterday, I'm still in the guest room, otherwise known as the infirmary, where I've been spending the last several nights because I tested positive for COVID on Wednesday. I guess not several nights, like 3 nights maybe. Funny enough, I started spending the night in here before I knew I had COVID, which wouldn't necessarily have been an incentive to come in here because my wife also has COVID. But between the two of our coughing schedules, it made sense to separate us for a couple of nights. And I'm doing a lot better. I did my post yesterday sort of from peak COVID, as I like to call it, the day of the greatest discomfort. Spent most of it in bed. I would stand up and do a few things like sit in a chair and eat an apple, and then I would be exhausted and need to lie down again. And today was much better. I was up. I was not in bed at all. I was up the whole day and had one of the most fun violin practices with my daughter that I've ever had. I have discovered, it's funny how these things work. For her special time, which is what we call time when we're just hanging out playing. Basically, it's time when either myself or my wife says, okay, let's just do whatever you want to do, whatever she wants to do. We just play whatever game she wants to play. We do whatever is on her agenda. So today, for her special time, she had used her special time with Mama to set up like this puppet show, or this like small cardboard stage. It's like a cardboard proscenium with a red curtain that just pulls apart, so you can, hardly the size of a small TV, but you could, have little puppets come up, or I suppose you could do other things there, but it's really kind of like a puppet show theater. We'd had this thing for like a year. I forget who even gave it to us. And I think we might have unpacked it once, but it definitely didn't take the first time. But she unpacked it today. And I mean to tell you, we were reenacting every scene from every book that she could remember, and she could remember a lot. It was like going through, it was like surfing, it was like going on YouTube through all the scenes we've ever read. And she had so much fun doing it, and she just enjoyed recreating these narratives. And I've noticed something about her, because she has a really strong memory for narrative. She seems to have a really powerful understanding of narrative. Like, she just gets how it works. She draws relationships between one story and another story, one character and another character. She drew a connection today. We were watching Disney's Wish, and the villain at the end gets sucked into his own. He uses dark magic to make this staff that is gonna like capture all the energy of the star, that's boundless energy and abundance. And he's gonna capture it in his staff. And he does it, but then all the people realize, I don't want to spoil it for you, but anyway, he ends up not winning. Surprise, the Disney villain goes down at the end. And his staff, and so the star gets free again, and then he gets sucked into his own staff. So it's like he is essentially done in by his own dark magic. And she instantly was like, oh, he's like that character from Princess and the Frog, who his own magic gets him at the end. And it's a story where the villain in that one is like this voodoo guy. He's like using voodoo, dark kind of voodoo magic. And he eventually gets like consumed by his voodoo creatures because he fails at the task that he's been set. And I was like, wow, yes, you're right. That's a really, really insightful connection to have made in an instant. Still got a little COVID. So that experience in and of itself was fantastic. It was just super cool to have opened up the world of reenacting, narratives, and to have become kind of playful with narratives. Well, later in the day, shortly after that, we were practicing violin, and her teacher recently suggested that we try coming up with stories for each song, because to kind of animate the song, right? Like give sections of the song the spirit that they need, or kind of give them some life in some way. And we had done a little of that, but we really leaned into it today, and we really leaned into it. We have been leaning into it for the last couple of days, but today it sort of blossomed in a way where every song we played, we decided we needed a narrative, we needed a story of what the song is talking about. And our songs involve a lot of witches and animals and creatures dancing and or chasing each other. There's a consistent theme throughout most of the songs we play. But the way that these narratives give life to the way she plays the pieces, the way she feels the pieces, and her enthusiasm for doing it. There was a song she played today at least 10 times. And I was like, okay, let's just do it again. She just wanted to play it over and over, over and over, because she was having so much fun living the story of this that we had literally made up 1 second before. Or I guess we made that one up a day or two ago, so it's been germinating, it's been marinating for a while. But she just couldn't put the story down. And I could promise you, if I'd asked her to play that song 10 times, she would have thought I lost my mind. She would have said, Papa, what? No, there's no such thing as you telling me I'm going to play a song 10 times. Don't even start. But that's what she wanted to do. She just couldn't stop. She was just like imbibing and expressing the story and the song, of course. And then in between takes, I would offer a little technical correction, like one thing that I noticed that needed to be worked on or looked at or whatever. And she would actually have the headspace for it, do a little correction, and then we do it again. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to feel like we've discovered this way in to the playfulness of music, the story of music. What's the music trying to say? And it's almost bizarre to me, it's almost bizarre to me that I hadn't thought of that. It seems like it seems like one of those epiphanies where you scream Eureka, and then you're like, why wasn't this obvious? She's a little girl, she loves stories. Add story into the mix. It's arriving at the right time. But it feels like a really fun discovery, and a really in some ways an opening into a new avenue of creating some joy around this practice, and just adding dimension to the music. It's super fun. So all in all, the power of narrative and the joy of narrative have been at the center of my day. And hopefully by tomorrow, I will have even less COVID than I have now. But that's where I'm at today, folks. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.